According to Gary Dessler's, human resource management is the art and science of acquiring, motivating, maintaining, and developing people in their jobs in light of their personal, professional, and technical skills and abilities, as well as the organization's needs and objectives. So here's the overview of advanced human resource management from Chapter 1. Advanced human resource management is a specialized field of HR that focuses on the strategic planning, development, and implementation of HR policies and practices to achieve organizational goals. It involves a deeper understanding of HR functions and their impact on the overall performance of an organization. So, some key areas of advanced HR management are: number one, strategic HR planning. This involves aligning HR strategies with organizational goals and objectives. It requires analyzing internal and external factors that affect the organizational workforce and developing HR strategies that support the organization's long term goals. Number two, talent management. So, this involves attracting, developing, and retaining the right talent for the organization. It includes activities such as recruiting, training and development, performance management, and succession planning. Number three, employee relationships. This involves managing the relationship between employees and the organizations. So it includes activities such as employee engagement, communication, conflict resolution, and diversity and inclusion. Number four, compensation and benefits. This involves developing and implementing compensation and benefits program that attract, motivate, and retain employee, and it includes activities such as salary survey, job evaluation, incentive program, and benefit administration. And number five, HR metric and analytics. This involves using data and analytics to measure and analyze HR metrics such as employee turnover, retention, and engagement. It helps organizations to make data driven decisions and improve the effectiveness of their HR programs. So, advanced HR management is a strategic approach to managing human resources that involves a deep understanding of the organization's goal and objective, and the development and implementation of HR policies and practices that support those goals.
Good evening, classmates. Good morning for those who are in the Philippines. Good morning, Prof. My name is Faye Chavez, and I'm going to be reporting about the human resource as a competency developer. Thank you, group mates, for this opportunity to discuss about this topic. So human resource plays a critical role in developing the competences of employees within an organization. HR professionals are responsible for identifying the skills, knowledge, and abilities required for success in various roles within the organization and creating programs that help employees to acquire or develop those competencies. One example of HR as a competency developer is the use of training and development programs. HR can identify skill gaps within the organization and design training programs that help employees to acquire the necessary competencies. For instance, a company might identify a need for employees to develop their project management skills. HR can then create a training program that provides employees within the knowledge and tools necessary to manage project effectively. Another example is performance management. HR can help managers to develop performance goals and competencies that are aligned within the organization's strategic objectives. HR can also provide coaching and feedback to employees to help them develop their competencies and improve their performance. A third example is talent management. HR can identify high potential employees and create programs that develop their competencies and prepare them for future leadership roles within the organization. For instance, a company might identify a group of employees with strong leadership potential and create a development program that provides them with opportunities to develop their leadership competencies. An article published by SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management, provides additional examples of how HR can act as a competency developer. These include identifying future competencies needs, building competency models, and creating career and development programs that help employees to acquire new competencies and advance within the organization. So we are going to drop in the chat, or we're going to put the link in our report. So whoever is interested to take a look on that one, you can just click it. I'm going to proceed to the 5 human resource competencies related to competency development. The first one is training and development. HR professionals should be able to design and deliver effective training programs to improve the skills and knowledge of employees. This includes identifying training needs, creating training materials, and evaluating the effectiveness of training programs. The second one is performance management. HR professionals should be skilled in setting performance expectations and goals, providing employee feedback, and assessing employee performance. They should also be able to develop performance improvement plans to help employees reach their full potential. The third one, talent management. HR professionals should be able to identify and attract top talent as well as develop and retain employees through performance management, career development, and succession planning. The fourth one is change management. HR professionals should be able to manage change within an organization, including communicating changes to employees, managing resistance to change, and developing strategies to support employee engagement during periods of change. And the fifth one is diversity and inclusion. HR professionals should be able to foster a culture of diversity and inclusion within an organization. This includes developing policies and practices that promote diversity and inclusion, as well as creating training programs to increase awareness and understanding of diversity issues. That concludes my part.
Human resource managers, HRMs, often play a vital role as change agents within organizations. They are responsible for managing and leading change initiatives that are aimed at improving organizational performance, productivity, and efficiency. HRMs can facilitate change by identifying areas that need improvement, creating a vision for change, and engaging employees in the change process. One example of how HRMs act as change agents is by implementing new policies and procedures. For instance, an HRM might introduce new policies related to employee attendance or workplace safety. They would work with employees to communicate the need for change and to ensure that employees understand the new policies and how they will be enforced. Another example is the implementation of new technology. HRMs can work with other leaders within the organization to identify opportunities for automation and other technological advancements. They can help to implement new technology by training employees and addressing concerns related to job security and job loss. HRMs can also act as change agents by driving cultural change within an organization. For instance, an HRM might promote a culture of innovation and creativity within the organization. They can develop programs encouraging employees to take risks and explore new ideas, leading to improved performance and productivity. An article published by Forbes provides additional examples of how HRMs can act as change agents. These include developing employee engagement programs, promoting diversity and inclusion, and implementing organizational restructuring initiatives. 5 human resource manager roles as a change agent. Identifying the need for change. HR managers should be able to identify areas in the organization that require change, such as changes in market trends or changes in customer needs. Developing and implementing change strategies. HR managers should develop and implement strategies to manage change effectively, such as creating a plan for communication, training employees on how processes, and providing resources to support employees during the transition. Building a culture of change. HR managers should foster a culture that supports change by promoting open communication, innovation, and continuous improvement. They should also encourage employees to take ownership of the change process and provide opportunities for employee feedback and involvement. Managing resistance to change. HR managers should be able to identify potential sources of resistance to change and develop strategies to manage and overcome that resistance. This may involve addressing employee concerns, providing additional training, or creating incentives to encourage employee buy in. Evaluating the effectiveness of change. HR managers should assess the effectiveness of the change process and make adjustments as necessary. They should also develop metrics to measure the success of the change and communicate these metrics to stakeholders within the organization.
Hello, classmates. Nice to see you again. Good day to you, Dr. Gariando. My name is Roel Beltran, and I am in charge to discuss the human resource as a strategic partner. Human resources, commonly known as HR, plays a strategic role in organizations by aligning HR strategies with the organization's strategic objectives. This involves understanding the organization's goals and objectives and developing HR policies and programs that support those goals. HR professionals can act as strategic partners by providing insights and recommendations to senior leaders on how HR can contribute to achieving the organization's goals. One example of HR as a strategic partner is the development of recruitment and retention strategies. HR can work with senior leaders to identify the skills and knowledge required for success in different organizational roles. They can then develop recruitment and retention strategies that help the organization attract and retain top talents. Another example is the development of compensation and benefit programs. HR can work with senior leaders to develop compensation and benefits programs that are aligned with the organization's goals and objectives. For instance, if the organization aims to attract and retain top talents, HR might develop a compensation program that offers competitive salaries and benefits. HR can also act as a strategic partner by developing employee engagement programs. HR can work with senior leaders to identify factors contributing to employee engagement, such as career development opportunities, work-life balance, and recognition programs. They can then develop programs that help to improve employee engagement, leading to improved organizational performance. An article entitled HR as a Strategic Partner, What Does It Take?, published by the Harvard Business Review, provides additional examples of how HR can act as a strategic partner. These include developing succession planning programs, implementing performance management programs, and developing leadership development programs. There are 5 human resource competencies related to being a strategic partner. Number 1, understanding business goals. HR professionals must understand the overall goals of the organization and how HR can support these goals. This involves having a deep understanding of the business strategy, industry trends, and competitive landscape. Number 2, aligning HR strategies with business objectives. HR professionals must develop HR strategies that are aligned with the organization's business objectives. This includes designing HR programs and practices that support the organization's goals, such as recruiting and retaining talent, developing employees, and managing performance. Number 3, driving change. HR professionals must be able to drive change within the organization by identifying areas for improvement, developing solutions, and implementing change programs. This includes developing and implementing HR programs that support organizational change, such as restructuring or mergers and acquisitions. Number 4, measuring HR effectiveness. HR professionals must be able to measure the effectiveness of HR programs and practices and communicate these results to senior management. This includes developing metrics to track key HR performance indicators, such as employee engagement, retention, and productivity. Number 5, collaborating with stakeholders. HR professionals must collaborate with stakeholders within the organization such as senior management, department managers, and employees. This includes building relationships with stakeholders and working closely with them to develop HR strategies that support the organization's goals.
Hi everyone, and this time is a case digest, and this is between the employee-employer relationship. And here is our group case analysis. So the GR number L48645, January 7, 1987, is a landmark case that deals with the relationship between employers and employees. So the case was filed by the Brotherhood Labor Unity Movement of the Philippines, along with other individual petitioners against Honorable Rinaldo B. Zamora, who is the Presidential Assistant for Legal Affairs Office of the President, Honorable Amado G. Enciong, who is the Undersecretary of Labor during that time, and San Miguel Corporation and its employees, Hinaro Olives, Enrico Camahart, Federico Oñate, Ernesto Villanueva, and Antonio Tabunar. So here are the facts that we gathered. So the San Miguel Corporation is, or what we call the SMC, is a leading beverage and food processing company in the Philippines. So, the Brotherhood Labor Unity Movement of the Philippines, or BLOOM, is a labor organization that represents the employees of SMC. So, in 1983, BLOOM filed a petition for a certification election before the Department of Labor and Employment, we call that DOLE, to determine the exclusive bargaining agent of the rank and file employees of SMC. So during the pendency of the petition, SMC management, through its labor relations department, conducted a series of meetings with some employees to discourage them from joining Bloom. So SMC also gave financial assistance and benefits to some of its employees who were against Bloom. So in 1984, the Dole conducted certification election, and Bloom emerged as the winner. So SMC filed a protest alleging that the election was marred by irregularities. So the Dolly dismissed SMC's protest and certified Bloom as the exclusive bargaining agent of the rank and file employees of SMC. However, so SMC refused to recognize Bloom as the bargaining agent of its employees. So Bloom filed a notice of strike, but the Dolly, citing the pendency of the certification election protest, enjoined the strike. So Bloom then filed a complaint um, for unfair labor practices against SMC, alleging that the latter interfered with the employee's right to self organization and engage in discriminatory practices. So the DOLE, through its regional director, found SMC guilty of unfair labor practices and ordered it to bargain collectively with Bloom. So SMC appealed the DOLE's decision to the Bureau of Labor Relations. So the BLR affirmed that Dole's decision, prompting SMC to elevate the case to the Secretary of Labor. So the Secretary of Labor modified the BLR's decision and dismissed the complaint against SMC. So the Secretary ruled that SMC did not commit unfair labor practices since it did not interfere with the employee's right to self organization and did not engage in discriminatory practices. So Bloom filed a motion for reconsideration, but the secretary denied it. So Bloom then elevated the case to the Court of Appeals, which affirmed the secretary's decision. And the issues: number one, whether or not SMC committed unfair labor practices by interfering with the employee's right to self organization and engaging in discriminatory practices. And number two, whether or not the Secretary of Labor and the Court of Appeals erred in um, dismissing Bloom's complaint for unfair labor practices against the SMC. So the ruling, so they went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Bloom and declared that San Miguel Corporation committed unfair labor practices by interfering with the employee's right for self organization and engaging in discriminatory practices. So the court held that SMC's action were aimed at defeating the employee's right to choose their own bargaining representative and were therefore violated of the law, the labor code. So the court also held that the Secretary of Labor and the Court of Appeals erred in dismissing Bloom's complaint for unfair labor practices against SMC. So the court who ruled that the Secretary and the Court of Appeal should have given more weight to the finding of Dole's regional director, who found SMC guilty of unfair labor practice. And for our analysis and conclusion, so the case of Brotherhood Labor Unity versus NLRC, GR number L-48645, highlights the importance of labor laws and dispute resolution mechanisms in protecting the rights of employees. So the collective bargaining agreement played a critical role in this case, providing a framework for resolving dispute between the labor union and management. So the NLRC also played a crucial role in adjudicating the dispute and ensuring that the rights of the employees were protected. So the decision of the NLRC was initially in favor of the management. Still, the labor union was able to appeal the decision to the Supreme Court, which ultimately ruled in their favor. So the case demonstrates that the law can be used to protect the rights of employees in the face of management decisions that may be harmful or unjust. So, in this case, the termination of the employees was deemed unjustified and violated their rights under the collective bargaining agreement.
Summary and reflection. Overview of Advanced Human Resource Management covers different aspects of human resource management, including the roles of HR as a competency developer, change agent, strategic partner, and manager of human capital. As a competency developer, HR is vital in identifying the skills and knowledge required for different organizational roles and developing programs to develop and enhance employee competencies. As a change agent, HR drives change initiatives to improve organizational performance, productivity, and efficiency. HR can facilitate change by identifying areas that need improvement, creating a vision for change, and engaging employees in the change process.
As a strategic partner, HR aligns HR strategies with the organization's strategic objectives. HR can develop and manage human capital within an organization, ensuring that employees have the skills and knowledge required to contribute to achieving the organization's goals. Human capital refers to the skills, knowledge, and abilities individuals bring to an organization. Managing human capital involves recruiting and selecting employees with the required skills, providing training and development opportunities, managing performance, and creating a culture of continuous learning. Overall, these concepts demonstrate the importance of human resources in managing and developing an organization's most valuable asset, its people. By effectively managing human resources, organizations can improve their performance, productivity, and efficiency and achieve their strategic objectives.